Hello and Merry Christmas and welcome to an absolutely beautiful morning in the Lake District for another day of landscape photography. I've got 3 locations picked out today. This first one is looking over a very icy and very cold Blencathra. So we've got a lot planned today. It's going to be cold, it's going to be impressive. So let's go. Today's episode is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, a domain name, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Okay, so I'm set up for my first shot of the day. I'm in the same location where I started, but I've got the camera set up on the tripod, and the shot I have in mind is pretty much the stunning scene, simply stunning scene behind me. I am using the tilt shift lens again, and I'm using the shift function to create a panorama I'm going to stitch together to get this whole scene in, because I've got this frozen tarn here which is particularly impressive, and that's reflecting some of the light back into the camera, that's reflecting off the snow or the ice on the mountain, and it's looking particularly good. So it's going to be sort of seen a little bit like this. So I've got Skiddaw Mountain in the background there, that way, and then we sort of go across the shot, and then we've got Blencathra, which is sort of peaked with a bit of cloud, and it's looking particularly impressive this morning. That's the composition. I'm using some of these frozen reeds in the foreground, and then in the midground we've got that frozen tarn, which is Chewit tarn, I believe. And then you've got those, just, they take your breath away, to be fair. Those mountains in the background there are just remarkable, really, and that's the shot. So all I'm doing is I'm at, forgot what I'm at. The camera's turned itself off because I've just been enjoying the moment. I'm at f8 and I'm at 1/50th of a second, ISO 100, and then it's 5 shots. As I rotate or as I turn the shift function, it goes from all the way over to the left and then all the way over to the right, and that's where the shot finishes. So a nice panorama with just stunning light on the mountain. There's some really dramatic light over on Skiddaw as well, which is just really adding to the scene, and I think it's going to work out really nicely and just be a classic Lake District winter shot. Good start to the day, and I've got a couple of other locations that I want to get some of this good light with. I'm going to pack up now. I've done some drone work, a nice little time lapse as well with the sun rising up onto that mountain. So I want to get to my next location and make the most of this truly stunning morning. There's not a breath of wind in the air either. It's just really special, really quiet. There are a couple of other people around, but that's all good. So let's get to the next location. So second amazing location of the day, and I'm at Castle Rig Stone Circle. It's just a small stone circle which is very, very old. I don't know the details of it. I'm sure you can look it up on Google if you wish. It's just outside of Keswick, and it's a really accessible location which I've shot before. The problem with the location is it does get very, very busy. It's very popular. It's not always ideal for a photograph. A long exposure can help you out to sort of get rid of the people, but this morning there was a couple of people around when I got here. They've now gone and I've got the whole place to myself. So it's working out really nicely. An amazing day. I've still got a bit of a chesty cough. This cold weather's not helping, but it is an absolutely stunning morning. So the reward is there. I'm feeling good at the moment. I've shot this place before and it's actually really difficult to get a really nice composition because the stone circle is actually on top of the hill. So you can't always get a raised position to actually see the whole thing. If you get close enough, you do get a little bit of that, but then you don't get the whole thing, and even with a wide angle lens. I'm using the tilt shift lens to my advantage again today because I've got the tripod up as high as it'll go, camera's as high as it will go, and then I'm using that shift function again to take a panorama of the stone circle. With a wide angle lens, if you just sort of tilted the camera around to do your panorama, it wouldn't look right. It would just look very warped in the image. But this tilt shift lens, as you use that shift function to move the lens across the sensor, it really produces a really nice panorama. I'm at f16 because there's quite a lot of difference in the depth of field between the front stone and the back stone, so I'm at f16 to get that maximum depth of field. I'm at ISO 100, and then I'm just balancing out that exposure with my ISO, and I'm just being careful because it's brighter on this side where the sun sort of starts to approach the image than it is on this side. So I've underexposed a tiny bit on this side, and as I go across the image, it's just nicely exposed, and I'll be able to sort that out in post-production. I've taken the shot already. I'm really happy with it. I've just done about 5 shots again, which I'm going to stitch into a panorama, and it should work out really nice. The mountains are snow-capped in the background. I've got some really interesting clouds as well, and it's just looking absolutely beautiful. I've got a busy day, but what a great way to start it. That feeling of well-being that I keep talking about, I've been in desperate need of that recently, so it's good to be out and about again, shooting some landscape photography. Right. Time for the third location of the day. Okay, so I'm in position for the last shot of the day, and this is probably going to work out just as a bit of a scouting shot because the light on the mountain behind me, which is Skiddaw, is not quite right. It's a bit cloudy over here, as you can see where the light's coming from, and I wanted that to be casting that nice light right across onto the mountain itself. At this time of year in the Lake District, or this far north, it is pretty much golden hour all day long. So you get that really good quality light striking the mountains, especially when they're snow-capped as well. There is a bit of cloud coming down across the top of the mountain as well, so it's not going to be the perfect shot, but I wanted to come here while I've got the tilt shift lens. The tilt shift lens isn't mine. I am thinking about getting one because it's adding a lot to what I'm doing. The reason is because similar to the last shot is that in this position, even with a wide angle lens, you're struggling to get that whole shape of Skiddaw in there. So I wanted to use a panorama, and the panoramas that this tilt shift lens creates are just so much nicer and so much smoother and less distortion than your normal type panorama with a normal lens. I just really like the images that it produces. So I wanted to come to this spot, which I've been to before, just to get it right. Composition wise, again, it's not perfect. There are actually some rocks hiding under the water here. The water level is quite high today. I wanted to use them as my foreground interest, but it's not to be. But there is these sort of reeds covered in ice here, which is still providing some interest in the foreground. You've then got the lake there, which is Bassenthwaite Lake. I've got the polarizer on just to take a little bit of the sheen off the top of the water, and then you're up into the mountains. I'm at f16 because I'm quite close to this foreground, and then obviously that mountain is quite far away, so I want that maximum depth of field. I'm at a shutter speed of about 1/8 of a second, I believe, and then I'm at ISO 100. I'm doing the 5 shots with the tilt shift lens, just using that shift. Again, I'll combine them in post-production and it'll come up with the final image. There is a nice bit of light actually striking the mountain. It's going to add a bit of contrast to the scene as well, but I think as a whole, it's still going to be a pretty nice Lake District panorama image. And that's what today has been all about. So what an absolutely brilliant morning in the Lake District. It's really got me into that Christmas mood, all this frost and ice and the cold weather and the beautiful snow-capped mountains. I'm looking forward to some time with my family over the next few days as well. Yet again, another absolutely spectacular day in the Lake District. And today I wanted to make it just so it was a bit more accessible. I didn't want to climb up a mountain today because I've still got this cold which is lingering. Takes longer to get over when you're a bit older, doesn't it? But what I've been thinking about doing as well is creating sort of photo guides and walking guides with GPS positions of where I've been during the vlogs. If that's something you're interested in, please do leave a comment down below and let me know. It'll include pictures of where you can park, instructions of where you can take a decent shot, all that sort of stuff. I want to hear from you. I'm not going to be able to offer it for free because it will take quite a lot of work, so I'm thinking around about £5 will be pretty reasonable, but let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'd really appreciate your feedback on this as well. Before we go, please do share this video. Sharing the videos really means a lot to me. It helps me out as well to get my videos seen by more people. But I hope you have a really, really great Christmas. I'll see you on New Year's Eve as well, and I hope you have a great day and lots of good things happen to you, whatever your belief, whatever your religion. Also, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com to start your free trial today, get you set up for the new year. And if you go to squarespace.com/firstman, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification bell and I'll see you on another video very soon. I'm Adam. This is First Man Photography in the Lake District. Out.